Her Excellency, Ms. Sophie, the Honorable Minister from France, His Excellency, the Ambassador of France to India, Ms. Sophie Wickett, the President and the organizer of today's event, all the distinguished participants at this very important APAC meeting being held in India, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, bonsoir. A warm welcome to my dear friend and colleague, Excellency Ms. Sophie Primus, the Minister Delegate to the Minister of Europe and Foreign Affairs in charge of foreign trade and France abroad, and all the French abroad. Esteemed French business leaders and all the distinguished trade commissioners, it is indeed a privilege to address you at this very significant moment in India's history and in the partnership with France. India and France, as many of you may be aware, are celebrating 75 years of our diplomatic ties and 25 years of our strategic partnership this year. Compliments to you, Excellency, compliments to you, Ambassador, and to all of you for this wonderful relationship that is only going from strength to strength and which we visualize to have a very significant role to play in the Europe-India partnership in the years to come. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's special message for this event underscores the importance of the India-France ties, a relationship built on trust, shared values, and a forward-looking vision. Friends, the bond between France and India is built on very important elements. We both share democracy as the core of our political thinking. We are both republics with liberty, equality, and fraternity at the core of our values, at the core of our constitution. We both believe in multilateralism, and we both have deep respect for international law. Over the decades, our partnership has evolved into a robust framework encompassing defense, space exploration, civil nuclear energy, digitalization, and our vision, our shared vision for the Indo-Pacific region. The adoption of the Horizon 2047 roadmap has further solidified our shared vision for the next 25 years. Bilateral trade between India and France in our financial year 2024 ended on March 31st reached $15 billion, with Indian exports at about 7 billion and imports at about 8 billion. Pretty much a balanced trade. Yet, if I may dare say, something which is quite suboptimal, given the strength of our two economies, something which we should collectively aspire to grow much bigger, much better, much faster. And I'm convinced that these numbers only tell a very small part of the story of our relationship. The true strength of our partnership lies in trust. We are both trusted partners to each other, and that will strengthen our continued engagement in investments, both sides, with Indian industry going to France and French manufacturing coming to India, our services working with each other to greater impact, the global capability centers that are coming in good measure to set up shop in India and leverage from the attractiveness of Indian talent, affordability of Indian operations, the ability as we move forward to co-innovate, to improve our innovation landscape between the two countries, and the possibilities that we can see through knowledge exchange and knowledge partnerships, academia partnerships, university partnerships. France is India's 11th largest foreign direct investor with an inflow of about 11 billion so far, but again a figure which portends a lot more potential in the future. The presence of over 750 French companies and 70 Indian companies working in France exemplify our deep economic integration. I do believe, again, there is huge scope on both sides for Indian businesses to look at engaging with France and vice versa. Collectively, about 500,000 people are being engaged in these companies which work across the borders, contributing significantly to employment generation and skill development in India, and also providing opportunities for many French nationals to come and understand the India growth story and the potential it holds in the next 25 years as we, in our Amrit Kal, the golden period as we call it, we move from a $3.5 trillion fifth largest economy in the world to a $5 trillion third largest economy in the world by 2027, and then onwards to become an economy almost 10 times our size today, a $35 trillion economy when we celebrate 100 years of independence in 2047. Friends, our nations are paving the way for collaboration across diverse sectors, some of which I would like to expand. One, agriculture and food processing. We have a number of possibilities to share innovative ideas towards the food security, not only of our two nations, but the food security of the world. And I think sustainable practices coming into agriculture can certainly have an impact on our global efforts to make the world a better place to live in, to save the world from the huge impact that climate change and the detrimental stories that we are hearing across the world about the changing climate and uncertainties that are emerging. Number two, renewable energy, also a part of our effort towards a sustainable world in the future, has huge potential for joint partnerships between France and India. It is no mean achievement that the India Solar Alliance, the International Solar Alliance, co-sponsored by France and India, has been a runaway success. I don't have the latest number, but last count, I remember it had over 100 countries across the world who had taken membership of the International Solar Alliance, and that also continues to spearhead our global renewable energy partnership between France and India and with other countries across the world. I do believe, and incidentally, I was the minister in charge of that project when this was launched in 2015 in Paris during COP21. And I do believe that some of the ideas that we had at that point of time exchanged and since then worked on or expanded upon hold a lot of potential, particularly to work together to take clean energy and renewable energy to those parts of the world, particularly the less developed countries and the emerging markets, less developing countries, so that they also can play their part in making the world a safer place to live in. Number three, on aerospace and defense, we have a significant partnership. I would dare say that India is the world's largest aviation market as we speak. And the number of planes that India has on order, close to about 1,500 are already on order. We have options that could take them to about 2,000. And I can see for the next 3 decades, the Indian aviation market will be the world's largest demand aggregator for aeroplanes. And I would suspect that it would be in the best interests also of French companies to look at Indian manufacturing possibilities, to look at expanding their own sales in India for both aircrafts, the spare parts for aircrafts, the MROs, and all the other associated industry, along with the aviation sector. Also, we are setting up a lot of airports. We have expanded our airports from 74 in 2014 to about 125 today, doubling them. And we plan to add another 75 more airports by 2029, which gives a huge opportunity, not only for those who wish to develop airports, but for all the associated projects associated to the aviation sector. With defense, I think India is one of the world's largest defense markets, and we are increasingly encouraging companies from across the world to come and manufacture in India. We allow 100% ownership of defense manufacturing companies. In fact, we don't even insist on technology transfer in most cases. So and India has a very, very strong patent regime and patent protection regime. So we would welcome greater collaboration and cooperation with France in the defense sector. We are all aware that you provided us a very large number of Rafale fighter jets, which now I think have all been supplied also into the country. At the next stage, possibly we can look at co-manufacturing them and making them much more attractive, not only for India, but for the whole world. Number 4, on automobiles and electric vehicles, we have potential to co-innovate EV technologies, and I believe the large Indian market with first-time owners of automobiles. So many parts of the developed world will have to persuade people to move from an existing ICE engine to an EV engine. But India will have such a large pool of first-time vehicle owners that we can actually together create a sustainable mobile revolution through electric mobility in India. And finally, number 5, digital technology. We can foster startups in cybersecurity, AI, e-commerce, and quantum technologies. Friends, as announced during President Macron's visit to India, the India-France Year of Innovation 2026 will be a milestone in fostering technology-driven growth. This initiative will promote joint projects in IT, renewable energy, healthcare, and smart cities. It will support startups and enhance cultural and technological exchanges. India is poised to emerge as a global leader as we pursue our Viksit Bharat 2047 vision. Guided by the 9-pronged strategy outlined in the Union Budget 24-25, we are advancing in manufacturing, urban development, energy security, and next-generation reforms. Initiatives like Make in India, Digital India, and Startup India continue to attract investments and catalyze economic growth. Our infrastructure projects, including Bharatmala, Sagarmala, and the Smart Cities mission, smart industrial cities being set up as a part of the ambitious industrial corridor project at 20 different locations across the country, creating world-class connectivity and urban ecosystems are but a few of the initiatives where we invite French collaboration. These efforts align with our vision of fostering inclusive and sustainable development for 1.4 billion aspirational Indians. Today, as we stand at the crossroads of opportunities and challenges, I call upon our French and Asia-Pacific partners to deepen collaborations, particularly in three areas. One, enhancing trade relations through bilateral agreements and multilateral platforms. Two, strengthening technological cooperation to address global challenges like climate change. Three, promoting cultural and educational exchanges to enrich the socio-economic fabric of our nations. I would like to end with a poem, not my poem. India and France, a bond so deep, in shared endeavors, our spirits leap. Through business and culture, hand in hand, united in trust, a partnership so grand. Thank you very much. I look forward to fruitful deliberations. Thank you. Jai Hind.